Hello guys, welcome to all of you. I'm your host K.A. Ghazali from Simple English. If your aim is to learn English quickly, effortlessly, and in a simple way, then you have come to the right place. Here you will find premium stuff for free. In today's video, we are going to discuss the brief history of the English language. So without much ado, let's get started. English is a member of the Indo-European family of languages. It is related to Dutch, Frisian, and German, with a significant amount of vocabulary from French, Latin, Greek, and many other languages. After Chinese and Spanish, English has the third largest number of native speakers in the world. It is the most commonly spoken language worldwide with over 1 billion speakers from nearly every country. More than double the number of native speakers has learned English as a secondary language. It is a universal language and a language of international trade and the entertainment industry. It is the official language of a lot of non-English speaking countries for documentation and teaching. Origin and roots of the English language. How did the English language come into being? To find an answer to this question, we have to look at the history of the languages spoken in the British Isles, because it takes a little while before it really becomes something we can call English. Let's take a look at the timeline. The Celts, 500 BC. For many years, the Celts were the most powerful people in Central and Northern Europe. There were many tribes of Celts. They all spoke a vaguely common Celtic language. They migrated to the British Isles around about 500 BC. They brought with them their culture, traditions, religious beliefs, and languages. Some words of Celtic language are still used in English. The Celts lived in Britain for centuries until the occupation of Romans. The Romans, 43 AD. The Romans invaded Britain 3 times. In August 55 BC, the Roman Emperor Julius Caesar invaded Britain for the first time and came back to France. Julius Caesar invaded Britain again the following year in 54 BC and made the Celtic tribes, mean to say Britons, to pay tribute to Romans and were then left in peace for nearly a century. Nearly 100 years later, in 43 AD, Emperor Claudius organized the final and successful Roman invasion of Britain. Even today, evidence of the Romans can be seen in the ruins of Roman buildings, forts, and roads all over Britain. They spoke Latin, but it was quite different from the classical Latin that we learn today. They left Britain after the collapse of the Roman Empire. Anglo Saxons, 450 AD. The history of the English language started with the invasion of 3 Germanic tribes who invaded Britain during the 5th century AD. The 3 tribes were the Angles, the Saxons, and the Jutes. They came from Saxony, Germany, and settled in Britain. Initially, they were divided into a number of small groups, but the Anglo-Saxons finally joined together and founded the Kingdom of England. These people were known as Anglo Saxons. They spoke similar languages with different dialects, which turned into what we now call Old English. That early English was much different from the English we speak today. Even today, native English speakers have great difficulty understanding Old English. A lot of commonly used words in modern English have Old English roots. The words strong and water are some of the examples which are derived from Old English. The Ingles came from a place which was called England, and the language they spoke was English. With the passage of time, the word England became England, and the word English became English. Beowulf was the great poet of Old English. The Vikings, 787 AD. The Vikings came from Scandinavia, modern-day Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. They were pagans. They spoke a kind of language which was called Old Norse. The Vikings' first raid was recorded in the 793 AD. The Vikings were considered rural people. The English language borrowed some words from the Old Norse. The names of the weak are almost derived from their language. They captured and ruled some of the parts of Britain until the arrival of the Normans. The Normans, 1066 AD. The Normans, led by William the Conqueror, invaded and conquered England in 1066 AD. They came from Normandy, modern-day France. They were originally descendants of Vikings from Scandinavia. After the conquest, Old English was replaced by Middle English. This is regarded as a marking the end of the Old English or Anglo-Saxon era, as during this period the English language was heavily influenced by Anglo-Norman, developing into a phase known now as Middle English. They were pagans, but over time they abandoned paganism and converted to Christianity. The Normans brought with them a kind of French which became the language of the royal court and elite class. For a period, there was a class division, where the lower classes spoke English and the upper classes spoke French. In the 14th century, English became dominant in Britain again. But it is also a fact that English borrowed many words from French. The language is called Middle English. It was the language of the great poet Chaucer. Renaissance period 1400 AD. Before the Renaissance, the English language was not considered an international language. Latin was known as an international language and the language of scholars and intellectuals. French and Italian languages were higher in ranks than the English language. The Renaissance is a period from the 14th to the 17th century. It is considered as a bridge between the Middle Ages and modern history. It started as a cultural movement in Italy and later spread to the rest of Europe. Language is always said to be the source of power, but soon after the Reformation, the English language became the means of connecting trade routes with Asian and African nations. The British had contact with many peoples around the world during the 16th century. The invention of the printing press in 1476 helped the English language to spread all over the world. Books became cheaper and more people learned to read. Printing also brought standardization to English. Spelling and grammar became fixed. The role of translating the Bible into English cannot be underestimated. The dialect of London became the standard. Shakespeare was the top poet and drama writer of early modern English. Actually, he invented more than 2000 English words. Empire expansion, 1700 to present. The English language added more new words after the year 1700. This was because the English language started to spread all around the world due to the development of Britain's new colonies. It underwent more huge changes after 1800. The main changes in vocabulary during the late modern period were due to the Industrial Revolution, scientific advancements, and colonialism. British Empire had extended to all 5 continents, and it was famous that the sun doesn't set on the Kingdom of Britain. As the British Empire grew, English words were absorbed into the languages of the colonized countries, spreading the English language far and wide. For essence, we can divide the history of the English language into 4 periods. Number 1. Old English 500 to 1100 AD. Number 2. Middle English 1100 to 1500 AD. Number 3. Early Modern English 1500 to 1800 AD. Number 4. Late Modern English 1800 to present. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment and share this video with your friends so that they also get benefit from it. Thank you.